Welcome to Toffee TV. It's obviously coming back off international break, and obviously we're going to have a little chat about Seamus Coleman and the incidents that happened on Friday. I mean, I don't know what's the best way to approach this, but you know, just absolutely sickening for the lad more than anything else in the world.
Yeah, he's who you're feeling, so we can feel sorry for ourselves as fans at the moment, but it's about him, isn't it? He's one of the nicest, down-to-earth footballers you'll ever meet, and you know, the reaction from ex-players and clubs and other players have said it all. Just horrible, absolutely horrible. But hopefully he can bounce back as quickly as possible. He's had the operation now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he bounces back. But
yeah, I mean, obviously the incident itself, Friday night, Taylor for Wales. I mean, what's your feelings on that, on the tackle itself?
I thought it was a poor tackle. It wasn't a jumped in 2 foot, but he left the floor. I thought it was a bad tackle. I thought I've only seen bits and pieces, to be honest with you, but I've seen a tackle by Bale about a couple of minutes before, which the referee should have dealt with, and he didn't, and it kind of knocked everything up a level. But listen, the amount of games Seamus Coleman's played, the amount of challenges he's gone in for, it's just, I suppose you look at it and go, is it a freak accident? Is that what you'd call it, given how many 50-50s he goes in for? I don't know. It wasn't a very good tackle, and unfortunately he's come off at the wrong end of it.
Bale did his a few minutes before, and Bale's, I mean, they look identical when you stop them, but he's slightly different because Bale's gone with almost like his front leg, so he's gone to almost block the ball.
Yeah, he's trying to get it.
Yeah, he said he tried to score, but it hasn't been dealt with. But you're right, it's like they're playing away, Wales, and they know they've got to win the game, so they're all hyped up, and you know what it's like in games. It's like a derby. The players are running left, right, and centre, smashing each other, and Taylor's followed on from that. And you're right in a way, because about being a bit of a freak accident, because it's a bad tackle. But if you look at like the still picture of it, Seamus gets there first, and he's almost got his foot planted, so it's like his knee and his leg and his foot are rigid, and it's literally like the only place he could have, and I know that's no consolation, but it's like the only place that he could have hit him. He's hit him right in the middle, and you only have to, on that picture you can already see that first, I mean, without I'm not interested in the other pictures and stuff, but like just that first picture with the tackle, you can already see where the impact has pushed his leg, and really it's given it nowhere to go, and it's snapped in the middle, and
his foot wasn't planted. It just, that's what happens a lot of times. He probably just had a heavy bruise, maybe, but because the foot's planted, you've got nowhere to go.
And he's putting because he's kicking the ball as well, he's putting all his power through his leg, so all the weight's in there, and as you say, it's just the timing. Second earlier, second later, as you said, it's going to be a bad bruising, and it's going to be a bit of a nasty one. But
it's like the Ghana and Huddleston catches him on the shin. It's just that his leg isn't planted, so his legs are able to move. You know, that could have been one. I mean, I've broke me fibula playing footy, and it's just the confidence really when you first come back. That's what that'll be. I mean,
I mean, obviously anyone who's seen it live, or you know, you've seen the videos, it looks horrific. I mean, and that's a big problem, isn't it? Because bones can heal quite well now. You know, a few years ago this probably could have finished them, but modern science, the way it is, you know, within a couple of days you've got it pinned, and you're
this was the next day,
you get it pinned, and it's the legs already recovering straight away. And I don't know whether they do what they, you know, I'm sure the things like I'm sure diets and stuff, the certain, you know, I'm not saying you eat certain things, your bone, you know, drink loads of milk and stuff, but I'm sure that there's certain things they'll say like this, and make sure you stick to a certain diet and stuff, and it'll all help out. It's the other things, isn't it? Because we've seen the horrible pictures and stuff. Your leg's not supposed to do that. It's not supposed to bend like that, you know what I mean? And then you got to start worrying about tendons and ligaments and all the rest of it. I mean, it looks like, touch wood, that he's got away with it, but you won't really know, will you, till that bone's healed and he puts his foot on the ground and starts kicking the ball. And
but it was Oviedo had a very similar thing. His leg done the same, didn't it? His leg looked like it being hit by a car or something. It was, you know, when he came back, albeit you know, probably not as good as what he was, but still a good Premier League footballer. You know, when we seen him, he broke his leg in January and was running in, trying to get back to a World Cup.
Well, this is quite interesting. This is something I wanted to bring up to you. I remember when Oviedo done it, and like that's the last sort of high profile one that it happened to us. It was a really bad one, but I almost feel like with Oviedo, the carrot of trying to get back for that World Cup was the worst thing.
It was the worst.
It was the worst thing. He over accelerated the natural healing process, and we seen it. He didn't come back for months after that, but he genuinely thought, well, like a month before the World Cup, he had a chance of going, but yet didn't come back for months and months and months.
He'd done the training with the screws in, didn't he? And then when they had the screws taken out, he thought he was virtually there. When he had the screws taken out, he was in pain again, and it was almost like he had to start all over again. And I think you're right, if he wouldn't have had the World Cup, if that had been a normal period of time, so we would have, you know, if you remember the videos they were posting him back working out, and he was on like a trampoline. We were going,
I'm sure there was one where he was on I might be wrong,
machine,
but it was underwater, so low impact.
Well, that's what he'll be doing, but then he just built up and built, and we were going, he had a bad break in January in World Cups, like June, how? Whereas Coleman will be a steady, you know, slow but steady.
But you're right, because he did say, didn't he, that I think with Oviedo, he said he took it out and he was in pain, and suddenly found like that the crutch of having no screws was like it wasn't there, so, and they had to make, I think he got a bit of infection as well if I think, and
you're right, he ended up being nearly a year, didn't he? It was about 9 months, not 10 months.
And so at least for Seamus, at least now, you know, he's still in hospital in Ireland. I read Martin O'Neill said before that he's still quite down, which is understandable. I mean, it's all the shock of it, isn't it, straight away, and then it's the realisation that you're going to be out for a long time. I suppose it helps that part of his recovery will come, the first part of his recovery will come over the summer, really. You know what I mean? Okay, there's 9 games of the season to go, but the first part of his recovery will come over the summer, where he wouldn't be doing a lot of it anyway. And then, you know, you just hope that by the time maybe Christmas is coming back, he's starting to look, you know, starting to see what's happening. Hopefully there's a chance for him to get back.
Well, when we spoke Friday, didn't we? You messaged me and we were talking about it, and at first you're thinking a year.
Yeah.
Easy, minimum a year, no question about it. But, you know, I've seen doctors talking about the thing, and Martin O'Neill said they spoke to the doctors then, they've said it was a clean break, and it's 6 to 8 months is the recovery time. So that takes us to to December, when he'd be back. So therefore, that's all being equal. He might be back a little bit quicker than that. He might be back January, who knows.
I'm still hesitant. I just think a year in my head, and I think that's the best way of looking at it. I mean, he'll think differently because he wants to get back, but I
think having a family will help him. You know, he's got a young child and stuff. They'll keep him on it. You know, the early part of the recovery. Then he'll be back in Finch Farmer in a couple of weeks doing different stuff. Just with the medical team, he'll be up again. He'll be in the room with Balassi's there, isn't he? So he'll see it that way, and it'll obviously make him evaluate. But
I think from a mental point of view, though, I think what might help is that, like you say, we're going into the summer now. So obviously he's got the next couple of months where it's like, you know, the next 2 months where he's resting it anyway, and then he'll like have a nice break. I'm sure he'll have a break, and then maybe by the time he starts his recovery, his slow recovery, don't forget, it's very big, but he'll be in Finch Farm when the lads are coming back for their pre-season, and okay, he's got to look out the window a little bit, but if they're doing gym work and stuff, he might be in and around, and that might boost his spirits, rather than you find players who are injured and they're having to go all summer in the training ground, and it's monotonous, it's boring, lonely, hard work, and I think that's the hard bit, isn't it, for them? It's like, you know, it's a long road back, and you've got to have distractions.
It's so frustrating, because up until Christmas he wasn't having. This has got nothing to do with it. He's a fantastic player, and it's an injury. But if you just look at it from a selfish point of view, really, as a fan, from Christmas onwards, he's been back to Seamus Coleman, and that's what I think why Ireland are devastated as well, because his levels of up and up.
Yeah, and they're trying to get to a World Cup, and they know he's the cat, and it's
so annoying. he was doubtful for this game.
I know. Well,
and we were going, wonder if he'd be back for a derby.
We'll have a little chat about that on a different video, but yeah, we were worried. We were thinking he was doubtful, and then he plays, and of course, he wants to play, and I understand that. All the lads do, but they're going to miss his leadership. He's become such a leader because his attitude is an old school attitude. It's like you play and you work hard, and I think
there's no airs and graces.
I read something about from a while ago. He said, "I'm a footballer. It's a privilege. It's not a chore. If someone wants an autograph, I sign it. That kind of thing. And that's what he's like."
I love this ripping the young lads. The Louis Vuitton bags and everything else. I love that. All of that. You play footy,
said, didn't he?
And you get well paid, but you're at the end of the day just a footballer. And that's his attitude. Like not a star, just a footballer. And he's fantastic. And he's worked hard.
And he's worked his way up.
Don't forget, he had a career-threatening injury before he even got in Everton's team. He got a blister, which sounds berserk, that got infected, and then had something that was eating away at his foot, and he didn't know whether he was even going to make it. And then he recovered from that, and then he got in our team, and since then he's been incredible. So he's a fighter.
But you think about him, he played for Sligo, and then obviously came to Everton. It was all a big thing, and then he went to Blackpool. Don't forget, and worked his way up with Blackpool. Seen the other side of it, got into the playoffs, helped them get into the Premier League.
Goalie shot for them. He went on 15.
And then got into the Premier League, and then. So he's seen all sides of it. I mean, don't forget as well, this is a lad who was playing hurling.
Yeah. He didn't know what he's one or the other one.
So it's a devastating.
He's equipped. He's well equipped to cope with it because of the way he is. I think, and he's got a good family around him, and like you say, everyone thinks highly of him, and he'll be back in Finch Farm, and he'll be around the lads, and that'll help him. But it's obviously a horrible injury. Yeah, it is, and we wish him speedy recovery and all the luck in the world. I'm sure he'll be okay, and he'll come back fighting. He'll be back for our assault on the Europa League in the second half of the season, and then hopefully for the World Cup for Ireland. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If it went forward 12 months, it'd be the World Cup and everything. So I mean, let us know what you think about this injury, and obviously the things that surrounded it. I mean, we don't want to go too much into the tackle and all that. You know what? Without going out. We've seen loads on Twitter about Neil Taylor and all that. He's a lad who broke his leg as well. I think he broke it twice in a couple of years. It wasn't a very good tackle, and he knows himself, and he'll be feeling terrible. And these things happen in football, and it's one of them things. But all the best to Seamus going forward. Yeah, all the best. See you later on Toffee TV.